Geoff and I are continuing our travels through Bosnia and Herzegovina, but we have one question. What is Herzegovina? Well, we're here to figure that out. We're starting in Sarajevo and driving down to Mostar and going to explore the surrounding area, just get an understanding of what Herzegovina really is. But first, we gotta get here. I'm Alexa.
And I'm Geoff.
Together, we're exploring the history and geography of the world one place at a time. Geoff and I are starting our Bosnia road trip. We are still in Sarajevo, but we are heading down to Mostar. We're gonna make a few stops on the way. Excited to leave the big city and, I guess, see the countryside a bit?
We're going to Herzegovina.
Exactly. Our drive began by leaving the busy city of Sarajevo to head down to Mostar. We were happy to leave the traffic and the rush of the big city and start driving through Bosnia's beautiful countryside, and the views did not disappoint. The drive itself was easy, as we passed through the tolls and beautiful small towns along the way. We have stopped at Lake Jablanica, probably saying it wrong, but that's okay. It was hard to find places along our road trip to stop. There weren't a lot of parking spaces or like turnouts that we're used to, but we found this restaurant with the best view. It is so beautiful. The water is such a beautiful blue-green color. And what's really interesting is this lake is a man-made lake. It looks really low, but we did a little bit of research and actually found out that the lake dried up not that long ago. Thankfully, there's water now.
So blue.
Wow. Wow. Waiting for our sabaki.
All right, so when we were in Sarajevo, we did not show you guys what a traditional Bosnian meal looks like. So in this case, I got some Bosnian savapi, a little sausage, and some bread. And then there's like some other stuff like onions and tomatoes. I'm not a big onion person, so I'm not gonna bother with that. But I did get a side of French fries. It's really good. The sausages in particular. I know it looks like a breakfast sausage, like you would get back in the States, but it's not. It's much more, more like lamb, I think. I love Bosnian food. Well, that was a great lunch here in somewhere in the middle of Bosnia. And again, just this view, incredible. If you ever drive from Sarajevo to Mostar, be sure to stop somewhere along Lake Jablanica because it speaks for itself, man. While we continue our drive to Herzegovina, let's talk a little bit about Bosnia's beautiful geography. This is a mountainous region. In fact, the Dinaric Alps basically take up the whole country of Bosnia and Herzegovina, which means there are stunning views everywhere you look as you drive from Sarajevo to Mostar. It is easily one of my top 10 road trips because of this. Well, guys, Alexa and I just got into our little hotel here in Mostar, and we are going to take a little break because it was a long drive from Sarajevo. But we'll see you guys in a little bit because we're going to hit the town and show you what Mostar's all about.
One eternity later.
We're back.
Hey.
After a couple hours of rest, we managed to claw our way out of our little Airbnb unit to show you guys around Mostar. And we're going to first show you guys a very distant view of the famous bridge here.
It's beautiful.
It's legitimately very beautiful, but if you can't tell from this viewpoint, it is literally swarmed with tourists right now.
And a very popular thing is to watch people dive off the bridge, which is crazy because it is 24 meters high.
And apparently the water maintains 12 degrees Celsius year round, which is cold enough to send your body into shock and, you know, you'll drown.
Talk about a polar plunge.
I don't like it. No, no, no.
Well, we are going to make our way over there to show you guys and give you guys the authentic experience, even if it's kind of grueling for us to do.
And no, we will not be jumping off the bridge.
Maybe.
Now that we've seen the bridge from afar, it's time to see it up close. Luckily,
There's a spot along the river that will give us the close-up view of the iconic bridge, and we may even get lucky enough to see adventurous divers jumping off the bridge and into the river below.
This is such a vibe. Oh! 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 That was insane. That could never be me. You all saw me trying to jump off the Doubtful Sound boat. This is 10 times that.
There's actually quite a few jumpers. Oh, including another one just now. It seems to be a pretty happening thing here in Mostar. I'm not a heights person, and I'm not much of a swimmer, so I don't think I'm gonna give it a go.
Boring! Boring!
It's nice and cold. On a hot day, that might feel nice.
So the energy here is just really fun. It's kind of like a beach atmosphere. We're not near the coast, but there's this lovely river. It's really dry, it's hot. People are here to party.
While Mostar is famous for the iconic bridge, there's still so much more to see in Old Town. To do this, we needed to cross the bridge to get to the other side of Old Town, something that you definitely want to do anyways.
So there's another person about to dive, and apparently he might not dive anytime soon.
What I read online is that if there are locals that are doing the jumps, what they do is they wait for tips, which makes sense. They're doing a job, a job a lot of people wouldn't want to do, and it's entertaining. But yeah, they'll wait until they have a big enough crowd and enough tips to make it worth the 24-meter jump.
Makes sense. You'd have to pay me a lot of money to jump. So here we go. We are now walking across the famous Mostar Old Bridge. Apparently, Mostar is named for the Mostari, which literally translates to the bridge keepers, because back when this town was officially formed in the 1400s, somebody needed to maintain the bridge. And that's all there was here. The town sort of came afterwards. Names are funny, huh? You watched us come all the way down here to Mostar, and here we are, right in the middle, the beating heart of Old Town. And it is crowded and a little hard to walk around because these cobblestones are intense.
Oof, I'm gonna fall. Very pretty. Someone's suitcase is gonna be very full.
So if you do make it down to Mostar, come to Bosnia, a lot of people, they end up doing day trips from Sarajevo. It's a little over a 2-hour drive, so very doable. It'll be a long day. But apparently, during the height of the day, you know, probably from 10 to 4 p.m. is when it's going to be most crowded, because there's all of those people on their day trips here. So if you stay the night, mornings, the evenings, it gets much less crowded, apparently. We'll see, because we are staying here. One of the things you can do here is go to the tippy top of one of the towers in a mosque to get a really nice view. But these are steep and narrow stairs, and you have to be willing to climb a lot. So be mindful and do not trip. How do you feel?
Hiya. I don't want to look.
And of course, this is what you're treated to if you actually make the trip and buy a ticket, of course. It is perhaps the best view here in Mostar, aside from being up on the hills. But look, you can see the bridge. It's a beauty.
Whew. Good view. I'd do it again. I'm still up here, I haven't gone down. But also the mosque is really pretty. Whew. I don't know, I feel the heights in my stomach right now. This is creepy.
Well, what goes up must go down.
A few moments later.
Traffic jam.
That's the problem with these old medieval towers, man. It's hard to get a lot of people up and down. Again, tight quarters, but well worth it for the view. If you don't like heights, like me, It can be a little hard though.
The streets of Old Town Mostar remind me a lot of Sarajevo. Small, windy, lots of things to see, a lot of people. But I do think just off of a very short tour of it, the shopping might be better here. Or I just didn't know where to go in Sarajevo. Behind me is the Mostar Bridge. It is the most iconic thing here in Mostar. And it's iconic for a reason. It was built during the 1400s, which is when the Ottoman Empire ruled the area. And it is one of the best examples of Ottoman architecture in basically all of the Balkans. Unfortunately, during the Bosnian War, it was destroyed, like a lot of things were. But it was rebuilt in 2004 and is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
It's very touristy, but it's very worth it as well. It's one of the few things that actually makes a lot of sense to come and see and visit because it is legitimately really cool.
Yeah.
Before ending our short time in Mostar, we crossed back over the bridge once more to end our time with a little treat.
Well, it's been a really fun day driving down from Sarajevo, showing you Mostar, but we have a lot more to show you tomorrow. The rest of Herzegovina.
See you then.
Good morning. So yesterday we spent a lot of time here in Mostar, showed you guys the route to get here to Mostar. Today is now about Herzegovina. And to do that, we're actually going to do another tour. We do have a car, we could drive around, but frankly, it's just easier to do a tour sometimes because they're going to take you to all the different places that you actually want to go. And it allows us to grab a drink if we want to. So we're running a little bit behind. We got to hit that tour. Let's get going.
We made it to our first stop, which is Blagaj. And this town dates back to the Ottoman Empire. This area is famous for a few things. I think it's most well known for the Dervish house, which we're going to see in just a moment. But it also has a very interesting history. So if you look up at the top of the mountain, you'll see this like ancient castle ruins. And this kind of helps tell the story of how Herzegovina got its name. You see, there was a duke who married a German princess. Now, this is a long time ago, just for reference, but they gave him the name Herzog, which means duke in German. You have Herzegovina, duke of the land. Interesting first stop as we explore Herzegovina.
This river right behind me, you guys have heard me talk about karst topography before. This one is really cool. All behind me is karst mountains, and this river is flowing from directly underneath it, a cave of sorts. And 43,000 cubic meters of water every second gets pumped out of here. And it is blue and clear and clean. It's hot, but man, Blagaj here in Herzegovina, stunning. Absolutely beautiful part of this country.
Alexa and I spent some time learning about the Dervish Monastery. Built in 1520, this monastery is known as a place for spiritual retreat and reflection. The building sits right along the base of a cliff at the spring of the Bunya River, offering some amazing views. Inside the monastery, you can find elements of Ottoman architecture, colorful rugs and decorations, and even an ancient bathroom. According to our guide, this was a place where merchants and other travelers who didn't have money could spend a few nights to rest, pray, and eat for free as they traveled across the country from one trading center to another.
All right, we're doing a tour of the Dervish house. It's really neat. It's such a fascinating history.
I have to wear this skirt though. It doesn't really show off my butt.
I do in fact still have an ass.
Gives me flat butt.
Before heading to our next stop, we decided to walk around Blagaj one more time to get up close to the Bunya River spring.
I was gushing about Mostar yesterday, but Blagaj, man, it is so pretty here. Little rivers, crystal clear blue water. Wow. Make no mistake, it is very touristy here as well.
As we continued our exploration of Herzegovina, We made our way to the Zitomislic Monastery, an Eastern Orthodox Christian monastery. Originally built during the Ottoman Empire, the monastery featured beautiful artwork and scriptures. Unfortunately, the monastery was destroyed in the 1990s during warfare, but was restored in 2005. Today, you can visit to see the beautiful artwork within the church and even buy wine that is grown by monks from the monastery. It's pretty good too.
After visiting 2 monasteries, it was time to see something a bit different here in Herzegovina. It wouldn't be Europe without visiting an ancient fortress. So for our next step, we made our way to Pocitelj for a quick hike to an ancient castle.
Once again, we find ourselves climbing a bunch of steps.
Ooh,
This time to an old fortress though. That's new. We'll rank the castle for sure.
we're really earning lunch and a nice dip in the waterfall. Whew.
Alexa and I have made it to Pocitelj, which if you're ever here in Bosnia and you look up the mountain, you're gonna see a really cool looking ruined fortress or castle. And apparently this castle was built in the 1500s to defend against the encroaching Ottoman Empire. And obviously it didn't work because this whole area fell under Ottoman control, but it makes for a really cool landmark today. It tells a little bit of the history of Herzegovina, but it is quite the hike up. Our guide also warned us that the stairs were quite rough going up, and yeah, they are. More rocks than stairs. It's hot, guys.
Whew.
It's very hot. And now we have officially made it to the fortress up here. And you might think that, ooh, that's slick rock. You might think that this is all in ruins because, well, the Ottomans invaded and destroyed it, but it's not. It was actually destroyed by the Croatian army during the 1990s Bosnian War. Apparently there's still a handful of people who live in the immediate vicinity of it, but it's mostly deserted.
There's a snake. Snakes exist here, and I just saw one. Ugh.
You know, I say this constantly, but just being able to touch the rocks and be inside this ancient medieval castle is just so cool.
The view here is really nice. You get the river. We can see some people swimming in the distance. I'm very jealous. But you also get to see this really huge bridge, and it actually connects to Croatia. It's not quite done yet. There's still some construction, but people are able to drive across it. Oh, that breeze.
This is why you make the effort, not only to be among the castle ruins, but where else are you going to get a view like this? Castles were often put on top of hills for a reason. They wanted to see if somebody was coming at them. And so, they tend to have really amazing views. Alexa is afraid of the snake. All right, we've explored the castle. How are we ranking it?
I would say a 5, only because the snake definitely knocked it down a point or two.
Wow. I'm gonna give this bad boy a 10.
What?
Well, it's like so real. This isn't like fake. It hasn't been remade. Like it still exists in the same way that it's always existed, just in a little bit more ruined. And you can climb all over it and you get a great view out of it.
I do like the view. See, it would have been like a 7.
No snakes on this plane. And now it's time to go back down, which might actually be harder than going up.
It is slippery.
It's slick, which is weird because it's not been raining.
It's like they polished the stones.
Yeah, exactly. It's like polished stone stairs. We have made it to our final stop here in Herzegovina, at least for the day. And While it doesn't look like much now, believe me when I say that it's going to look very cool when we get there. Just requires a whole lot of stairs first. Right now we're going down, but we'll have to come back up later. Just to give you guys a little hint about what's coming. Also, Alexa's in her bathing suit, so.
I know something you don't know.
Welcome to Kravika Falls here in Bosnia, which is, as you can tell, a bit of a party atmosphere. Mostly because it's a big old swimming hole with some very beautiful waterfalls. Unfortunately, unlike most of the other places we visited today, there's not a whole lot of history to talk about here. It's just kind of a nice place to visit. And so we're gonna jump on the water at some point here. But first, we're starving. Oh, so hungry. Alexa and I have made it to, well, a spot here in the waterfalls just to get some food and get some drinks because we're hungry. But I figured now would also probably be a good time to talk about, well, the answer to the video's question, which is, what is Herzegovina?
Generally, it's just the southern part of the country. Makes up about 24% of Bosnia and Herzegovina. There is no official borders or no administrative entity that is solely governing Herzegovina. But there are still differences, some cultural differences.
So this whole area was actually controlled and administered by the Ottoman Empire for hundreds of years. So it's for that reason that we see a lot more mosques, a lot more Islamic architecture, a lot more Muslims, and it creates more of this diverse culture that is different from the northern part where Sarajevo is, which could be much more Catholic if you're closer to Croatia, or much more Eastern Orthodox if you're closer to Serbia. But it's not a state, it's not a province like you would see in the United States or in Canada. Herzegovina, like the rest of the country, is split between the two administrative halves of Bosnia and Herzegovina, which is, weirdly, the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina and the Republic of Srpska. So all in all, it's just kind of a weird and unique region of this country.
And definitely one worth visiting.
Well, we're gonna eat our food and then we'll take you guys into the water for a little bit. Ooh. Cold and rocky. That's all I'll say. That's brisk. So it's pretty warm out. Probably about 90 degrees. But this water, man. This water is so cold.
With only a short time left in Herzegovina, I wanted to enjoy the refreshing water at the Kravika Waterfall. The water was cold, but felt so good after a long day of exploring in the sun, and I did not want to leave. But all good things have to come to an end.
It's been so fun exploring Herzegovina and figuring out what even is it.
It's complicated, guys. But what I do know is that we're running late for our tour bus. And so it's been really fun. Next week, we're gonna go to, well, one of the most interesting places that I can think of with respects to Bosnia and Herzegovina. It's their weird little coastal area.
So come back next week.
For another adventure.
See you then. No part of me that could do that.
You know, sorry.
Oh, careful.
I'm gonna tell on you.